out to the Nerd Effect News Show, week ending March 23rd, 2014. I am one of your hosts, Dustin Vancouver, and I am joined by my other co-anchors.
Michael Morgan.
Mason Ireland.
Big Brittle.
Yay! How are you fine people?
Doing well.
HQ love me.
Woo! Mike?
Good. We had a week off, and so I've had time to reflect on the world.
And by that you mean play lots of games?
Yeah.
In your pajamas?
Yeah.
And by your world, you mean your 20 by 20 apartment? And
Oh, I wish it was 20 by 20. God. Yeah, I'm paying $600 a month for a broom closet.
Yay! Wait.
But what more do you really need? I mean,
Yeah, as long as I can hold my 42-inch screen, I'm good.
There's room for a TV and cats. What else do you really need?
Yeah.
Space for yourself.
Curl up on the floor. You're fine. Beanbag chairs can get squished really tiny.
I'm all about my queen size bed.
I got a king size bed we really need to replace.
We need a king size because when you have 3 cats and a dog and 2 people, a queen really isn't big enough. Like at all. I get pushed out of bed by the dog a lot.
I'm sure.
Yeah, he's a dick. I swear he does it on purpose. Because it's feet in the back.
Oh yeah,
You know, they start kicking, they start pushing you. I was like, no, this is my bed.
No, it's not. It's mine.
Get out. I bought you that one on the floor. So
But it's on the
this
floor, Mom.
So this wouldn't happen.
I am your equal. I get to sleep up here too.
Yeah.
All right. Well, now that our personal news is over, where shall we like to start? Let's start with Nikki.
What?
Is that okay?
Give me like 30 seconds because I tried to open my...
We gave you an hour.
You know what? Your face. Your mom's face.
What she said.
And hey, there's his rar. Talk good. Are you sure you want me to talk at all?
You're not sentencing very well tonight.
I sentence real good, Mason.
Me no speak good?
We speak real good.
That's impossible.
Okay, so basically, this week's tinfoil hat news is brought to you by NASA. They funded a study.
I'm sure they fully endorse.
Well, no, my
Our
news
news.
topic is brought to you by them.
We could use some of that NASA money.
Oh yeah,
I think NASA could use some of that NASA money.
That's true.
there's that.
They basically funded a study that says we're all fucked. They're equating our current societal structure to the Roman Empire, the Mayans, all those really great big cultures that suddenly weren't anymore. And they're saying that if things don't change, our society's gonna crumble. Specifically, the fact that there's such a huge gap between the rich and the poor, and rather than help out the poor, the rich are like, nope, mine. So, there's a few people who have way more money than they could ever possibly need in their entire lives. And then there's the rest of us. And the wider that gap gets, the more screwed we all are. And, yeah, so we're all gonna die. But probably meteors are gonna happen before our society collapses, so that's fine. Maybe the rich people will use some of their money to build bunkers.
Meteor sounds far more exciting.
Yeah, it really does, doesn't it? A slow, steady societal collapse.
Yeah, there'll be fireworks, there'll be people screaming, riots in the streets, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Oh, apparently there's an update to the article since I read it last. NASA has issued a clarification stressing that the study does not necessarily represent NASA's viewpoint, noting that they fund many studies. They stress it was not solicited, directed, or reviewed by NASA. The funding came about because the project was utilizing research tools developed for a separate NASA activity. What other NASA activity? I don't know. They're pointing out that, as is the case with all independent research, the views and conclusions in the paper are that of the authors alone. I think they're just saying that because now people are freaking out because they're seeing that NASA funded a study that says we're all fucked.
Yeah, basically.
I think they should stand by it because then maybe some rich people will be like, oh, hey.
So is NASA coming out and admitting they just gave money to a bunch of doomsayers?
No.
No.
It's like through a very well respected social research center.
The like equations and tools that they're using, the models that they're creating to reach this conclusion, apparently are ones that NASA's using for other things. And they just used it to prove that we're all going to die poor and hungry.
So NASA supplied the money for the research, and not necessarily the opinions.
Yeah. Or
there's no
the
opinions.
topic of study.
Well, okay.
It's scientific research. Anthropology, sociology, they are sciences. It was scientific research.
Wait, isn't creationism science, Mason? Did
Not
you
at
learn
all.
that?
Creationism is not science.
But I saw creationist scientists.
That doesn't, just because you try to appropriate words doesn't make you a scientist.
That's great.
I just like breaking Mason. It's my favorite hobby.
Find a new hobby.
No, I like this one so much.
So, and yeah, the thing is that the greater and greater the disparity between the rich and the poor, the worse things get, because the more and more concentrated the wealth gets and the less there is that spreads around, the movement of wealth through an economy. I think that's how you keep a economy and civilization functioning, at least partially, a major part of the economy part.
People don't have money to spend. They're not going to spend money.
Yeah. So the more the money gets concentrated, the worse off everyone is, including the rich, because eventually, no matter how much money you have, you can't spend it all. And when so few people have amassed so much that there's not a way for an economy to be healthy and flow. And the reality is that we are now a global economy. There's no independent countries' economies anymore. We may talk about things like, the GDP of a country, but that only matters in the amount of stuff a country can produce. That's what the gross domestic product is. But you don't sell solely within your own country anymore. You sell a lot to outside nations. So,
we talk a lot about it. Just from where I work, we talk about a lot of national or international trade, especially between like China. I guess recently had bought up a shat ton of our mortgage-backed security type stuff. And
okay,
we have a lot of meetings that make me paranoid.
Yeah,
like there's a reason I'm a prepper now.
Like I won't put any names out there, but the guy who did the talk for us every month, he made it sound like China's going to own us, but in the next 100 years or so.
But it's
United States of China.
I think, didn't he actually say that at one point?
Did he?
I think he did.
I don't remember.
Sounds like what I say.
But yeah, the issue is, without the flow of money and people having enough money to maintain their basic needs, then there's no, if I'm so poor that I can't maintain my basic needs, and even with a job at a minimum wage, what's the point of even almost having that job at minimum wage, which starts taking workers out of the system, and eventually enough people will get fed up that things will collapse in some way.
And food banks can only help out so many people.
Right. And well, you got to think most of the major civilizations did that. They had very bad death throes where those who were the power elite ended up being very much not the power elite by the end of it.
Familiar.
Yeah, that was the dice roll.
Nice. Sorry. But yeah, they, those in power end up not in power and usually very, very dead because of their amassed wealth that can't protect them from a sword or a knife or a gun.
But if you are rich and you are helping people.
Here's my thing. So there's that I can't remember the name of the rich dude who's got a $1 million prize for anybody that guesses the winning basketball bracket for March Madness. If you're so rich that you have $1 million to just give away for something like that, you don't need all the money you have.
Right.
And yeah, maybe use it to help people. instead of putting it out there as if you could guess this statistically impossible thing, you get all the money. Maybe donate it to charities that feed people who can't afford to feed themselves, or clothe themselves, or house themselves.
There's been a premise roaming around for a few years now, called the base income theory. Basically, it says that everyone in the country, whatever country it is, in this case, they were working with U.S. figures, United States dollars. But basically, everyone in the United States over the age of 21 gets $10,000 a year. Base income, no requirements to get it. Mm-hmm. This would allow people to do things like go to school to improve their knowledge base, to have a secure amount of money they can depend on monthly, and be able to basically maintain a certain level of dignity and stuff, because they don't have to worry about having, you would have money to spend on clothes to go to a job interview for a better job. So you have a suit that looks more professional and up to date instead of having a suit that looks like it's from the 80s.
I read this article about dry cleaners that was offering this thing where if homeless people needed to have their clothes cleaned so that they could go apply for jobs, they'd do it for free. And it got me right in the feels because I thought that was awesome.
There was another meme of a barber that on his spare time on Sundays he goes out to one of the local shelters or something like that, and he gives out free haircuts to whoever wants them if they're going to be applying for jobs and stuff.
See,
beard trims and whatnot.
We are low income. We are barely making ends meet. I'm working as much as I can, and Ange can't work, and so half of our income is set, and it's not set very high. And so we've gone to food pantries before because we haven't had enough to feed ourselves, and we're that poor, and we're always doing random stuff for charities because as somebody who depends on them, we appreciate the things that they do so much that we help them out in all the ways that we can. I don't understand why people who have butt tons of money don't do more.
It's a sense of entitlement.
Yeah.
And the thing is that the more and more stuff you acquire, the more and more you feel you're entitled to more stuff. This is actually how the human brain works.
Yeah, and they start justifying spending more money on the stuff that they are getting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, this whole $10,000 thing would be paid for by the government without a tax increase because they can do it. Mm-hmm. That means they might have to do things like cut the military's budget, but fuck the military. I have friends in the military.
Yeah.
I support my friends in the military. But
it's the program.
Our military is so ridiculously large that it needs to be trimmed. We spend more, out of the top 10 militaries in the world, if all of the money spent by all of those nations was, that grand total from all top 10 militaries in the world, we're 66% of that pie by ourselves. China's number 2, I believe, or number 3. North Korea is the other one of those two. And then it's all of our allies. But the gross difference between number 1 and number 2. Because
there is a gross difference between number 1 and number 2.
Ew. That was a poop joke.
Think like a 5-year-old, yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, I couldn't. I couldn't help it.
Was like, yeah, there is a gross difference, meaning large. But when you have the next 9 militaries are only 33% of that budget versus one military being 66% of that budget, I think we need to cut our fucking military down to size. There's no reason for it to be as big and as large as it is. And you could take that money, give it out, to, $10,000, a year to everyone in the country, making it so everyone has a base standard of living.
Or, even not if that, just treat your fucking existing military with a little more respect. Like,
well, no,
especially retired veterans and stuff like that.
Well, that's
and
different.
women, enlisted women.
Those are
all sorts of fucked up shit that happens to them.
Yeah, but that's a totally different
Yeah.
pie. I'm just saying, society is capable of taking care of all of its own. And the thing is like people like, the Republicans' argument is, oh, these people just don't want to work. Bullshit. There are occasional people that don't want to work. Yes, that is true. There are also outliers they are also statistical outliers. Most people want to earn their own money in their own way in the world. Mm-hmm. And, if you give people a base level to work from, they will honestly be more capable of doing it because they will be healthier.
Oh yeah.
They will have more dignity, and they will be able to, know that even if they fail, they'd be willing to try and fail more often because they know they have a solid base to fall back on.
There was a video I saw go around where this guy had taken time from his own schedule, and he had found it's like a street kid. He looked like the stereotypical, like, from the hood, type of the stereotypical kind of black person that you kind of picture, like, in the hood of New York, kind of thing. But he took the guy. He was living poverty level and all that stuff, and he took him to a McDonald's for an hour every day to use their free Wi-Fi and taught him how to code.
Yeah.
Like here's how you code websites and computer programs and stuff like that, and taught him every day for like 6 months at a McDonald's. And it was kind of a social experiment, and it ended up landed him a job that made him like $45,000 a year.
That's awesome.
So, that was kind of the premise behind that video,
Yeah.
Have like a pay it forward type thing.
I love that stuff. It makes me so happy because, if I've noticed that people who are less well off tend to be the ones that give more.
Right.
And if everyone gave, like, to scale, can you imagine what a better place this world would be? Like, not even, like, monetarily, just giving your time and giving, your effort, your physical effort to different things. Like, if everybody did it to scale for their means, it would be an amazing thing to see. And our society wouldn't collapse.
Yeah.
It would grow and be amazing.
Yeah.
This message brought to you by...
There's also a factor of, education's going to be a big factor in that.
Right.
Our college costs too much. It's free in Scotland.
Yeah.
Used to be
there's a lot of countries it's free in.
Yeah.
And even in England, where they technically make you pay for it, you can get a free ride via student loans, like you can in America. But in England, until you make £21,400 or £800 a year, they don't make you pay it back. And if you don't get a job that pays that much in 30 years, they're like, whatever, we're good with it.
Yeah.
Whereas in America, if you're not paying them back in 6 months, they hound you like relentlessly. Mm-hmm. And it's...
Yeah, I got garnishes on my student loans right now because I couldn't pay them.
Yeah.
I couldn't keep up with the payments.
And America's richer than England and Scotland combined. I think we should be able to get a free education here.
Yeah.
We don't need Freddie Mac and Sally Mae issuing the loans. The government can issue the loans.
Fannie Mae.
Fannie Mae. Yeah. And Freddie Mac. That's right.
Yep.
We know that because of work.
Yeah.
I just got them confused, but they don't need to be issuing the loans. The government can issue the loans. The government can forgive the loans like England does. And also a note on that for people who don't know the conversion. Give or take, I say £21,000 a year is roughly a $35,000 to $40,000 a year job, depending on the conversion that day. But the pound is more powerful than the dollar. So until you're making a real honest to goodness middle class wage, they don't expect you to pay it back.
Because they know you can't.
Right. And I don't know, something about, the inherent greed of laissez-faire capitalism that America tries so hard to stick to, basically makes it so it's impossible for America to move forward and become a progressive country in a lot of these areas.
I'm moving to Canada.
It costs about $10,000. We looked into it at one point. Just to move there. Like, you have to have that much extra money for them to let you in.
That's not bad, considering.
I have $5 in my bank account because that's what it's required to keep open. Like, we were talking about how much I hate that we only have one car and my scooter. I love my scooter, but there's certain days out of the year I can't ride it.
Right.
So I have to use Angela's car, which leaves her, somebody who is physically impaired, alone at home without a car. Granted, we live in a condo complex now where she knows most of our neighbors, so she could go ask somebody for a ride if it was an emergency, but it's, you know, one of those things that I've never felt entirely comfortable with. So we were talking about, you know, once we get a little more on our feet than we are right now, I want to start saving up for a used car, like a shitty $1,000 pickup truck from the youth ranch used car lot or something like that. And totally forgot where I was going with this.
Something about the Canada costing $10,000 to move.
Oh yeah, like, and that's one of those things where it's like, God, how could we even save up that much money? And at one point we were looking at Canada. It's crazy.
Oh,
Ginger.
Canada,
Yeah.
something.
Maple
America's
leaves.
upstairs neighbor.
You've got a couple Mounties.
Let's say
Yeah.
Maple syrup,
Jen just had
Poutine.
a friend.
poutine. I've never actually had it.
Sounds like a dirty word.
It does, but
it's a delightfully
it's-
horrible word, but
it's French fries with brown gravy and cheese curds on it.
Oh, I know.
I need this eventually. And the thing is, like, I know I can make it. I
But
just
you
don't.
want it made by somebody else who
you
did
want
it
it
right.
made by
Yeah.
Canadian.
Yeah.
You want
I want
it
it
made by
a
Canadian.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I understand.
But Jen had a friend recently who just literally dropped everything and moved to Hawaii.
Oh, wow.
Left all of her shit
That's
here.
not a cheap place to leave or to live either.
Oh, she saved money. I think she saved like $18,000 or something like that. Just saved like a third of her paycheck for like 4 or 5 years.
I
Dropped
wish I could
everything
save
and
a
just
third of my paycheck.
Yeah.
fucking like, well, she's a nurse, so
Oh,
she
yeah.
has a little bit of more extra income.
Yeah.
But she would basically, she basically lent her stuff out to people, like, you want to borrow my TV for like 5 years? That kind of thing. Do you want
Oh,
to
that's smart.
borrow my microwave or whatever, and just lent her stuff out versus, saving for storage.
Yeah.
Having to pay for storage.
That's really smart.
So she
actually.
just dropped everything, bought a plane ticket to,
Hawaii.
packed up like 1 or 2 bags and moved
Yeah.
to
You
Hawaii.
need your clothes.
Yeah.
I knew a guy
Hawaii,
who
it's a little more optional, but yeah.
lived on the beach.
No,
in
no,
Hawaii.
you still need those specific societally sanctioned sections covered.
Yeah.
Right.
I knew a guy who lived on the beach in Hawaii for a long time. Like he was an older dude, and he was saying that like he went there on vacation and liked it so much he stayed, and he didn't even have a place to live, but the weather was so nice he just stayed on the beach,
Yeah.
and like for 4 years that's what he did. And he ended up saving up enough doing odd jobs that he was able to buy like a little square of land and build himself a little hut on it, and that's where he lived for a while, which just blew my mind because that's kind of cool.
Hawaii's a good place to be.
Yeah.
Eh.
Eh.
You know what really pisses me off? $40,000 in debt in student loans. I wasn't even able to finish school, and the school isn't even there anymore.
Yeah, that sucks. I stopped going to school because I reached a point where I was going to have to take out student loans, and I didn't want the debt. And then I got a good job.
I had student loans after my first year. I hated it.
I had orchestra scholarships for a really long time. I was getting like $1,000 a year, and I had a little bit of college money saved up. And between those things, I was able to pay for my first several years. And then all of a sudden, when I didn't want to major in orchestra, they took away my scholarship. It was very sad.
See, what you should have done was just double majored.
Yeah, no, that would have been impossible because orchestra takes up so much time. Because you meet 3 times a week for actual orchestra. One of the days was for 3 hours, the other 2 for about an hour and a half. You have private lessons, which is an hour once a week. If you're in the orchestra, you also have, can't remember what it's called right now.
Poop.
No, it's basically sectionals, but it's
Sectional poop.
a class where it's all the people that play your instrument and you have to play solos in front of each other. And that's an hour and a half a week. And then there's all the practicing that you have to do to be good at all of those things. So you end up dedicating about 30 hours a week to this thing that blocks you from being able to take classes for the other thing. Like, there were a lot of art classes I couldn't take because I was in orchestra at that time. So it just didn't end up working out. It's very time consuming.
Yeah.
Next story?
Yeah.
Sure.
So that's my news.
All right.
Good story, Nikki.
Yay, good stories, you guys.
Well, since we're talking about the end of the world, Mason, let's talk about the measles.
Yes. Well, there's been that whole hullabaloo of people who are scientifically incorrect completely, who say that, vaccines cause autism and they're bad and you shouldn't vaccinate your kids. Well, they're dumb. There's no causal relation.
Yeah, they actually found that study was falsified.
The study was totally falsified.
Yeah.
The one that they're all quoting, it was totally falsified. The guy was trying to make a name for himself and didn't care. Damn the consequences, basically.
The huge, massive consequences.
Yes. So, well, a few years ago, the United States government declared that measles had been eliminated in the United States. Then these asshats who don't vaccinate their kids show up.
Asshats was fun.
And guess what? Oh, I don't know. Measles is back. So, yeah. Don't be a dumbass. Vaccinate your kids.
And don't listen to celebrities because they're not
Don't listen
doctors.
to celebrities. Listen to scientists.
Just because they're famous doesn't mean they know shit.
Right. Exactly. Don't listen to famous celebrities. Listen to scientists.
It means they're good at playing pretend.
Yeah.
I played a doctor once.
I know things.
I know things. I had to learn terminology and stuff.
But yeah.
I know the word terminology.
Yeah. So, yeah. So measles is back. Good job, you idiots who don't vaccinate your children.
And I'll just reiterate my story about Jenny McCarthy because that was just too funny about her hashtag thing that happened to her. So, for those of you who don't know, Jenny McCarthy had a thing happen to her. She's one of the people who was like anti-vaccination, and she's actually been anti-vaccination for a long time, if I remember correctly. At least
It all started with this study, though.
like
Chris
last
Hardwick
3
was
or 4
making
years.
pretty awesome fun of her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she basically had this hashtag on Twitter called Ask Jenny or something like that, or Jenny Asks. That's what it was. Jenny Asks, and and she was basically just asking, "What do you find in the perfect mate?" or something like that, and she just got an ass load of smart ass people, which was amazing. Just people who were like, "My perfect mate vaccinates their kids," and so on and so forth, and pretty much along those lines. And yeah, Twitter and blogs had the heyday with that hashtag. So I thought it was funny.
Yes. She deserves it.
All I know is my kid's not going to die of obsolete diseases.
No.
Thank you.
Freaking polio, all this other stuff. I saw this a map. It was like one of those infographics, and it was a map that they actually updated it recently. And it had just like circles representing all these diseases, and the 2 worst countries were America and Africa. And we have a choice.
Yeah.
Most of them don't. Yeah. Pretty special.
Yep.
Right. So don't get measles, people.
Or polio, or rubella, or mumps.
Or dysentery.
Chicken pox.
Come on, chicken pox.
Huh?
I don't think that they don't have a
Do they have a chicken pox vaccination now?
No.
They have chicken pox parties, so all the kids get it while they're young.
I've heard about that. Yeah, you just rub.
We actually
rub
thought my
chicken
baby
pox on
niece
each other.
had chicken pox spots the other day. It ended up just being I'm a little kid and got into something rash, but
It's called a pox party.
she was totally going to have a pox party, yeah.
But I had
No
chicken
measles
pox.
parties.
No
No.
measles parties. So I had chicken pox when I was a kid. That sucked balls.
I still have scars on my face from not
like the
leaving
one right
things
here on my
alone.
nose?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My mom put socks on my hand, and I figured out that I could take them off with my teeth. Yeah.
Yeah, in most, from kidshealth.org, caused by varicella zoster virus, chickenpox used to be a common illness among kids in the United States, particularly among those under the age of 12.
Yeah.
Or an itchy rash, where the fuck did I just read it? Kids can be protected from VZV by getting a chickenpox vaccine.
Oh, they have
The
one
vaccine
now.
significantly reduces the chances of getting chickenpox. Vaccinated kids who do get chickenpox tend to have milder cases and quicker recoveries.
I wonder
compared
what
to
that
those
does for the risks of getting shingles when they get older. Like if
Because
because my great aunt had shingles and it was horribly painful. And she was a super tough, happy lady, and when it would like flare up, it was awful for her. Yeah.
Chickenpox wasn't that bad for me. I remember it just being an excuse to stay home. It was no worse than a cold, and
It was like when I had pink
Without
eye
the
that
s-
one time. It was annoying, but I got to stay home. And that
yeah,
was
exactly.
Great. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just kind of annoying.
Pink eye was worse actually because my mom quarantined me and made me put gloves on every time I left my room because she thought I was rubbing my eyes.
Oh, yeah.
Duct tape gloves to your hands.
My mom's not paranoid at all. I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm trying to see like maybe when a vaccine was actually.
You know what this conversation reminds me of? That episode of Torchwood where the
I like where
person
this is
was
going.
back from time and had the Black Plague.
Oh, yeah.
So they had this person with the Black Plague at the hospital.
Yeah.
And they had
But the thing about the reality of the Black Plague is like there was someone a couple years ago who got it in Oregon.
I remember hearing about that, yeah.
Yeah, the Black Plague is awesome, except for when you have penicillin nearby and can cure it because it's a bacteria.
But can you imagine how gross of a person you have to be to get the Black Plague now? Because isn't it...
No, not a very gross person.
Oh, really? I thought it was...
It's a bacteria transmitted by a flea bite, and
Oh, I was getting it confused with something from rat feces.
Just a heads up.
Oh,
Chickenpox vaccine has been available since 1995, so since
it's
before
pretty
our
recent.
time.
Yeah.
So because I got it in like 88, 89 somewhere. It was
Yeah,
like second or
it
third
was
grade.
the 80s when I got it.
So, but
I think I was in
so
kindergarten.
95 would have been junior high for me.
Yeah. Okay, so it's a new vaccine.
Yeah.
Okay, it's cool that they have it now.
Yeah, that is
But,
cool.
it's another good disease to get rid of.
I've never heard they
More
even
for
have
its
that. I wonder
annoyance.
how many-
Yeah. Well, more correctly for shingles later in
Yeah.
life.
Yeah, I am curious what that does for the risks of shingles if it decreases it, because that'd be really cool.
Yeah. But yeah. Yeah. Anyway, vaccinations are good for you. Don't listen to celebrities. They don't know what they're talking about.
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially ones like Jenny McCarthy.
Yes.
And Kristen Cavallari.
I actually don't know who she is.
She's from the Hills, I believe.
Is
From
that show that
MTV
pretended
show.
to be a reality show, but it wasn't?
Yes.
Yeah. The one that
They're making
Family Guy
fake
makes fun of?
reality shows now.
Well, they're all...
They're semi-scripted. It's weird. It is a reality show, but they film it like it's 90210.
Yeah.
It's kind of fucked up.
God.
I don't know how else to describe it.
That's... Family Guy was making fun of that, I think.
Good.
Yeah,
It
but
deserves
they
it.
actually had Kristen
Yeah.
It wasn't Kristen...
They had one of the people's voices, yeah.
Yeah, but she's actually somewhat of a decent person. Like, after the show, it's like weird. The show painted her in a completely different light than the way she is in real life. And
How do you
Yay
know
for
that?
editing.
she's actually pretty smart, which is...
Yeah, Brian
pretty-
dated her.
Yeah.
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 Or
I can't remember her
boned
name now.
Something
Yeah.
like that.
Put his lipstick in her.
Gross. Oh my god, I have to tell you about the birthday present my dog gave my cat. It
Oh,
was so
God.
funny.
bone?
Where's this going?
No, not there. But he was walking by the cat. It was my kitty Zeus's birthday yesterday. He's 2. And so the dog's walking by the cat. And all of a sudden he just collapses to the ground and starts licking his wiener right in front of the cat's face. And the cat's got this look on his face like, that is not what I wanted for my fucking birthday. Like, the most annoyed cat face I've ever seen in my life. And it was fucking hilarious, and I couldn't stop laughing.
Like,
He just had this look like,
my
dude,
God.
why? Because the cat was just laying on the ground doing cat stuff, and then all of a sudden, dog wiener in his face. It was so fucking funny. It was the funniest thing. I had to call Angela. I was like, you need to go look at this. It's so funny. Poor traumatized kitty.
That's good time.
It didn't go where you thought it was going to go, but that's okay.
All right. So we're going to go from the end of humanity to Mike and I's stories, which is gaming!
Yay.
Which is all about expendable income. You want to go first or me?
I can go first. Mine will probably go pretty quick.
Okay, go.
Okay.
I'm going to go quick, too.
So, the new Steam controller that's being tested is out. From people who are familiar with the previous version, it used to have a touchscreen, and they have eliminated the touchscreen on this one. They have stated that they have not completely given up on the touchscreen idea yet, but it looks like they're going with the buttons instead because people like buttons.
Yeah.
So we may see a return on it or some other function in it, but at this point they have it removed.
I mean, people like responsive feedback behind their thumbs?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, imagine that shit.
Yeah.
So, a few of the main changes. Besides the touchscreen being removed, they got the buttons on there, which, they went with basically like an Xbox.
Right.
A, B, X, Y, and then, directionals. So, from what we're seeing, the buttons they're in a good position. It's feeling pretty good as far as the controllability. The touchpads instead of analog sticks are still pretty much the same.
Right. They still have the haptic touchpads.
Yeah.
Well, that was like its key selling point was those touchpads.
An interesting bit that they were talking about was what they called ghost mode, which the software they were working with that was going to run the touchscreen.
Right.
This software is still there, so they're looking at other ways to incorporate that software into possibly using it with the touchpads with an alternate key instead. So you can have those keys mapped normally and then have another key that you can hit to use other functions on the touchpads. So,
Like hotkeys.
yeah. So you got the touchpads instead of the analog sticks.
Mm-hmm.
So when you touch on the touchpads, it does the directions. You could hold a button in, touch the touchpads, and get other functions.
Yeah, like hotkeys.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you hit Shift or F, whatever.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You got it.
I was grasping it.
Okay. Never mind. I misheard you.
That's okay.
I feel what you're saying.
I don't think you're dumb. I really don't.
I didn't think
Wow,
that you thought
where
it
did
was
that
dumb
come
until
from?
you said it. Now I think that you do.
I
I'm gonna go
don't.
cry in the corner 'cause
Mike, you're so judgmental.
Man, I suck.
Gross.
So,
Only if you ask him nicely.
Oh!
the only other notes I've worth mentioning are the battery on this one. It does actually have, I think, the wireless functionality in this one. Although, I didn't get a confirmation on that. But it's got a little bit more heft to it with the battery in there.
Right.
Unlike the previous one was just wired. And looks like this has it's like a micro USB port on there to be able to plug it in and charge it to.
Yeah. Plug it in, charge it, use it wired.
Yep. So yeah, they have not finalized the date yet, but they're hoping to have it released by fall of this year for the consumer.
Are the Steam machines themselves... Oh, sorry, Steam Box, or wherever the fuck they're going by.
I like Steam Machine so much better
I know.
because it's a Daft Punk song.
Oh.
It's Daft Punk, so I just got Steam.
Maybe that's why they didn't go with the name, because they didn't want to get sued.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, it's all whispery and creepy and awesome. Yeah.
Has that gone off beta yet?
No.
No?
They're still in beta on it.
Beta testing goes on for a really long time, buddy.
I wasn't sure, because I know that was like a big thing that they had. And then that was
Well,
like...
they're
reported that back in like... What, December?
Yeah,
When-
but that's like they were doing it. This is a lot of people nowadays, because of video games, confuse what a beta test actually is. Like there's initial creation, then you have alpha testing. Alpha testing gets out most of your bugs and problems, but there's probably still some sitting around somewhere that people haven't thought of. or haven't found because you simply don't have a large enough pool. Then you go into a beta test, which is larger and closer to a finalized product, which is what Steam released the first Steam boxes with. And they released the first gen controller, they released the Steam box. Now the people have the second gen controller and their Steam box. And part of what happened during the first phase of the beta was they got feedback on the touchscreen on the controller and basically found that people weren't using it, and touchscreens are relatively expensive, especially compared to a, button switch. I mean, even if you're using nice cherries, the touchscreen's still way more expensive than a cherry switch.
Which is funny because now those controllers are going to become collectibles.
Probably. Actually, probably what happened is they were all sent back to Steam.
And if you don't send one back?
Then you don't get your replacement.
What if you didn't want the replacement?
Then you're probably violating the NDAs, among other contracts you have signed with Steam and Valve. Well, with Valve.
It's kind of like when you stop having DirecTV service. Everybody keeps the box and the dish. And
yeah, but then they send you a bill for $300 for the price of the...
There are 2 dishes on my house.
I know, I think we got 2 dishes too. One for
Why
dish,
didn't
one
they
for...
hook up the other one when...
Because it's a competing...
They're actually on different signals.
They're different signals, and as they upgrade their boxes, some of the dishes sometimes don't become compatible after a while.
Why didn't they take the old one with them when they installed the new one?
Because if you got DirecTV or something like that, and it was a Dish Network dish, they're going to leave the Dish Network one up there.
Oh, maybe it is different dishes. I didn't even notice that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But that's what the beta test is doing, is actually testing out the controllers, the machines themselves, how the games are working inside the Steam machine with the Steam machine, how the other media functions of the Steam machine are working, etc. So they're doing a real beta. That's why you're not hearing much about them, is because it's a closed beta.
Oh, people can't talk.
People can't talk. Mm-hmm. And if I would have been one of the people who had gotten in, except for I don't own a controller, so there was no way for me to, play Dishonored or whatever, quick enough with a controller to apply, because I don't have a controller for my computer. I use a keyboard and mouse. Otherwise, I would have tried to get into it, and I would be kind of constantly going, because I wanted to tell you guys about it, but I couldn't. Mm-hmm.
You don't want to get sued?
No, not really. Especially not by companies as big as Valve.
Well, you could tell us. You just couldn't tell us here.
Yeah. Well, technically, I wouldn't even be allowed to tell you guys.
Shush.
But
he would be shushing.
I would be shushing. But the thing is that
you just got to look out for the Valve assassin. That's
out the window,
200 yards that way.
He's over
on the grassy knoll. Ninjas, man.
Well, he's in the clock tower.
On the train station.
On the train station.
Yeah. Probably seeing through these windows.
Yeah. I know, this is probably a nice clean view for him.
Yeah. The thing is that you're not allowed to talk in a closed beta. They're not going to open beta hardware, because that's basically just, you would have to sell it to people. Because giving away an open beta is worth hardware, because, they'd be like, we're going to open beta the hardware, and everyone would be like, I want one, and you have to give it to them.
Mm.
So, but the way most people think of betas nowadays, when it comes to video games, are basically try before you buy. That's not what a beta really was. And that's what the open beta has become for especially MMOs, but pretty much any game that ever does an open beta. Mm. And the other big point of an open beta is stress testing. To make sure the servers can handle the load of people and information and get the information out and in, without lag.
Which, on that note, ESO is looking pretty good.
Yes, ESO is looking really good on that.
I remember I played MAG on open beta for a while. I don't know if you know what that game is, but it's basically a gigantic first-person shooter.
Oh, yeah.
I played this one, and
it is pretty awesome. I mean, the maps are gigantic, and anyway, continue.
Oh, I played this one, I think it was called 13, and it was rotoscoped. And you got, the first couple levels, and you got to test them out.
That sounds like shareware.
Well, that's a demo.
No, but it was the demo. It was out for testing.
Yeah, okay.
When was the last time you guys heard the term shareware?
I had to do a survey after I played it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It was pretty cool.
I'm also curious about their, production method on the beta machines, like the beta controllers, because if you look at it, you can see like the lines on the surface.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, so did they 3D print them? Or did they actually have them machined somewhere?
Well, there's a good idea of a use for a 3D printer.
Yeah, exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah. You can make some
Depending
cool
on the
shaped
run
controllers.
size, because I think they did 500 of them.
Yeah.
Well, they did 500 beta machines.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that they were probably done as a fast run of casting. Because 3D printing 500 of something takes a really long time. Because 3D printers aren't exactly fast. Even professional additive 3D printers where they like use lasers to harden the medium and it's a tank of the medium and stuff. They're not fast. So,
Yet.
It's
almost the future.
But yeah, I think they probably just did basically a limited print run with a manufacturer. And also they were intentionally not necessarily up to production quality.
Oh, yeah.
Especially on the plastic parts there, they didn't have the nicest finish. Like, you wouldn't want to make it a rough finish on the outside. You don't want to hurt, scuff people's hands up and stuff and make it irritating because you want people to play it. But they don't need to have the fit and finish necessarily of a finished controller.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Just one of the details I was noticing in the picture. So
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure they probably 3D printed their concepts initially.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's totally doable nowadays and a great way to do it instead of having to cut one out of wood.
I'm looking forward to the day when they get these 3D printers down to the point where we could afford to pick one up, and
they're really
it
close.
would be and you get the resolution enough to do like D&D miniatures.
They already have them that good. Not affordable. Not
affordable.
Not affordable as in, I think I'm going to go pick up a 3D printer today type affordable. But
I want one of those food
Like
printers.
HP printers that come with the ink that are cheaper than the ink itself.
yeah.
$30 for this printer, and then you can
If my printer
might as well
didn't have a
chuck it
scanner
when
on
it's
it.
out because
Yeah, so if my printer didn't have a scanner
That's not
on
wasteful
it.
at all.
But
I
yeah,
can't remember the last time I paid for ink.
you always go buy a new printer nowadays.
Yeah. Or just print it somewhere else.
Yeah. Go to one of your friends. Hey, do you have any printer ink?
yeah.
I always just did the Kinko's thing.
Oh, Kinko's is too expensive.
It is, but as often as I actually physically print things out, 15 cents a page isn't that bad.
Yeah, true.
If I get enough back for my taxes, I'm going to pick up like $100 laser printer.
We've got a glitchy old Kodak 4-in-1. I still haven't figured out what the 4 is. Like a printer, copier, scanner, which
Fax.
it might have a fax function. I haven't even looked into that.
I don't think anything uses fax anymore.
We have
We
fax
have
machines here.
three
Yeah.
fax machines.
Yeah, 3.
Okay, I guess.
Businesses.
Mike,
still
you
use-
know that.
There's 4.
Businesses.
I would say a lot of businesses still use fax
Three.
machines.
There's 3 numbers, but there's 4 machines. Because there's one
Well,
in
one
Robert's
was being
office.
used as a printer.
We
then.
wouldn't use
Yeah.
a fax for anything.
But I was right.
Yeah. Yeah, but
I'm still right. We have
Anyway, technicalities.
it doesn't have a scanner. Oh yes, it does. Never mind.
How would it not?
Dun dun dun. Shush.
Wait. So if
Brain
you think
logic.
I'm wrong, you can correct me all day. But as soon as you're wrong,
Dustin, say versus logic. Oh,
You failed.
Oh man. Say versus dumb.
do you have a bonus?
No,
to
he
that?
doesn't. He has a penalty.
I love being able to get and make these nerdy jokes, you guys. Makes me so happy.
So more video games.
Let's hear about Sony's new tag along there behind someone else on the curve news.
Yeah. So Sony has released the Project Morpheus is basically a competitive headset with the Oculus Rift.
I would like to point out something really quick here. They called it Project Morpheus, and I don't think they should have been allowed to do that. Sony is nowhere near cool enough to use the name of the King of Sleep for anything.
That's true.
And all of our little Neil Gaiman geeks will get that.
I got it.
I know.
Okay.
Sony deserves a little slap on the wrist for
I introduced...
Or maybe it's so boring it just puts you to sleep.
I introduced one of our coworkers to Neil Gaiman this week.
Awesome.
I let her borrow Anansi Boys, and
I still haven't read that one.
oh, it's good.
I need to. I just haven't yet.
It's really good. I can't find my copy of Good Omens anywhere. Did I let you borrow that?
I haven't borrowed anything.
Damn it.
It's such a good omens.
I'm still trying to finish American Gods.
I let somebody else borrow that book, and they lost it and bought me a new one, which is fine. If you're going to lose my book, buy me a new one. That's great. And now I've apparently lost it, or lent it out and forgotten who I lent it to, and I'm really bummed out about that because I wanted to reread it.
Black cover or white cover?
Black cover.
Okay.
Yeah. High five. She made sure to buy the right one.
So basically what we have here is we have Sony's, proprietary, it's built for the PlayStation 4, uses 2 Move controllers with the glowy balls on the end of it.
Yeah, don't you then?
The ice cream cones.
Yeah, and has 4 LEDs built into the mask so that the camera can track the mask. I saw the it may have been Engadget, but I can't remember. But one of those guys was at was it GCD?
GDC.
DDC?
GDC. Golf Delta Charlie.
Okay. What they were at the convention and they were test driving it basically.
Yeah.
And it wasn't actually a game, but it was kind of like a tech demo.
Right.
And
I saw Adam Sessler's on Rev 3.
Oh, okay. It was the Knights.
Yeah.
Like the Knight demo. It basically had like a dummy in front of you and you could take sword swipes at it and move your head left and right and up and down and stuff like that, and it would give you whatever your view is. From what I understand, they say it's still kind of clunky.
Sony has also said this is still a demo. This is still something that's in development.
Yeah. But it looks pretty slick. It's pretty polished looking.
Yeah.
Physically, the actual mask itself.
Yeah.
From what I understand, it does pick up and sense stuff pretty easily, from what I understand as well. It'd be kind of cool to see this, I keep picturing for the VR stuff, especially, if you want to get me back into first-person shooters, you make a good first-person shooter for this fucking thing, and I will be on top of it.
I'm sure they're very concerned with getting you specifically interested in first-person shooters again.
Well,
I know. I'm just being a snarky.
Oh, no.
Yeah. I'm just trying to be funny.
One of my things I think about, if they want to do good virtual reality, well, one, and Adam Sessler touched on this when he was talking to the guy at Sony about it, is 3D sound.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that's a big game killer.
That was one of the things where he said the Sony is ahead of the Oculus. Basically, the Oculus is ahead of the Sony in almost every other way.
Wider view angle, OLED screen.
Right.
Yeah.
But the Sony one had great 3D sound. Cause at one point you gotta use a crossbow too. And he would fire it at different angles around himself and you could hear very precisely where you would hear the sounds.
Oh, that's cool.
And he shot it straight up at one point and it went up. There was a pause of no sound and then it hit. Yeah, you hear the boom as it hits. So that 3D sound is also really important, but the one point that is still going to stick with me on 3D or on VR stuff is until they fix it is input. Mouse, keyboard, controller doesn't matter as long as I have to have my hands on something doing something, be it a move controller, a regular console controller or mouse and keyboard, doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. But as long as I'm having to do that, the immersion's not going to be perfect.
Mm-mm.
And I don't think it ever will be.
Yeah. Well,
at some point they might be able to.
You only have so much room in your living room.
Well, no, it's the, as I keep talking about, because I love Cyberpunk, I want to be able to be plugged in. Mm-hmm. Once they can do that, then the VR games are going to be perfect.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of like they do with the PlayStation Home, where you're kind of like your own avatar, and you're walking around in kind of like a shopping mall and interacting with other people and stuff like that.
But when you can basically have it completely override your senses and be able to, you're in a game or whatever, so you can call up a menu and do stuff if you need, or, and exit and things like that. But, basically when it can override and like to move, I just think about moving forward.
They can do it with false limbs. Why not video games?
Right. So
money.
I would think there'd be more money in video games.
Yeah, video games is like a $40 billion dollar a year industry worldwide. But like every step forward, the Oculus, the Sony Morpheus, they're all cool steps forward. And like the thing about the Oculus Rift and the Sony Morpheus, there's still a lot of people who are going to get motion sick with either one. And
I will probably be one of those.
That is going to be a sticking point to making these like totally widely accepted. And like one of the other things I would like, that I was thinking about was, do you need games to be the same with VR as you do with a flat screen? Like I always thought 3D screens were a gimmick. Like 3D movies, 3D televisions, 3D computer monitors, like the NVIDIA 3D vision. Mm-hmm. I've always thought those were really gimmicky. Like not worth my time to invest in this 3D technology because it just simply doesn't add enough. Whereas VR is getting closer. Mm-hmm. But will you need to make the same games? Because like Gone Home, which I still won't tell people what it's about because I'm not a jerk. That game, like, I think I would have shorted out an Oculus Rift with all my feels at the end of that game. If
Your tears would have melted the circuitry.
Yeah. And I would have electrocuted my face off and it would have been horrible. But, like, all the feels at the end of that game, like, if I had actually, like, been looking around the house by moving my head and stuff and interacting with things and having it be more virtual, it would have been even a stronger impact. I'm not saying shooters aren't going to be good in 3D like that. I'm just saying, like, you could take game design in a whole lot of different ways with like an Oculus or a Sony or the Sony, that you don't necessarily need to have that same necessarily constantly killing stuff that a lot of games have. Like, like I think, games that are more based on pure exploration will be a lot more interesting.
Reinvent Myst.
Yes, exactly.
Oh
Things
my
like that.
god!
Fucking amazing.
Yeah.
See, I'm just looking forward to being in a virtual reality game, shooting somebody in the head, then actually leaning down to their ear and going, headshot.
Or actually being able to teabag somebody.
No.
You guys are fucked up in a special kind of way, aren't ya?
This much.
We've all played, first-person shooters. Oh, the UT 2004 tournaments over at Dragon's House.
Oh my god.
That was so good
my
times.
God.
Good times.
Dustin, I see you.
Headshot.
Or, when...
Killing spree.
Or when we were playing the first Aliens versus Predator game.
Oh my god.
And, hey, look, dark corner. Dragon, you guys got me again. Would have never seen an alien hide in a dark corner.
Never ever.
Yeah.
We have fun memories of killing each other.
Yeah.
That's how you know you're real friends.
All day,
Exactly.
all day LAN party day.
All day, all weekend, as long as you can stay up.
My favorite was when I'd get together with my game world crew friends and we would play Burnout Revenge specifically because every time those bastards made me crash, I would fucking explode. I always saved a little boost just so I could take those assholes out.
Nice.
Yep.
I remember once that my cousin, Cody and Alex, they had invited a couple more friends over and then we all had like a stay over. And we had stayed up from like...
Just call it a slumber party, it's fine.
Yes. I was the oldest one of the group. I think I was like 13 at the time. And, we stayed up until like 3 a.m. from like, probably like 5 p.m. forward, playing nothing but Mario Kart 64, GoldenEye, and Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. Especially Mario Kart.
Mario Kart's a great game.
That's my cousins and I. My cousins always had all the really cool systems, whatever the cool new system was.
Right.
Like they had a Sega when those came out, and we were so jealous because we still had the old, regular Nintendo. And the one thing that we always did was they would always make sure that they had Mario Kart, the version of Mario Kart, obviously not the Sega, but the version of Mario Kart that came with whatever system they had.
Right.
And we would always play Mario Kart, and we pulled out the old Nintendo and tried to show our younger cousins, because my cousin Angela's 6 months younger than me, and her brother's 6 months younger than my brother, so we were really close in age, and we always played together, and our younger cousins are like 13, 14 years younger than us. And so we pulled out the old Nintendo to try and show them how awesome Mario Kart was. But it was like the original Mario Kart, and they were super not impressed. We're like, no, you guys don't understand.
Super Mario. Super Nintendo.
Best.
Yeah. Mario Kart 64 is probably the crowning achievement, I think, of the Mario Kart.
That was our go-to system for Mario Kart.
Memories.
Stupid fucking Blue Turtles.
Mario Kart from a VR perspective.
Oh, hell yeah.
Racing games?
Racing games are going to be awesome.
Oh, man.
Because, like,
that'd be super cool.
especially if you had
mirrors and stuff.
Especially because Logitech every year releases like a new friggin' steering wheel that has like feedback on it, for like if you're taking a corner and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That would be the one time when having to interact with a controller wouldn't interfere with your immersion in the game.
Not too bad.
That's true, because
Yeah.
you wouldn't be the one moving forward. The car would be.
Yeah, so
Right.
you'd have to be turning that anyways if you're driving in a car. So as long as you can look around and see.
Could you imagine looking out your passenger window like, "What up, bitch?"
Yeah, like there's no top-down view, but you can look behind you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just imagining Pod Racer with the force feedback joystick.
That'd have been awesome.
Yeah.
So, okay, back when Star Wars Episode 1 came out.
Oh, I had it on N64.
I've seen
Okay.
it, yeah.
But I'm just, for people who might not have heard of it, Episode 1 Pod Racer came out. That was the best thing about Episode 1 was that game. That game was so awesome. I loved playing it.
Yeah. At the time, I had a Logitech force feedback joystick that I used for like MechWarrior. Mm-hmm. And the feedback with the Pod Racer game was amazing. I mean, you felt the acceleration. And
Nice.
They did a really good job with it. And I mean, if you had like a VR headset with that, holy shit. But yeah, okay.
I realize this is less cool, but did you guys see that Lego Star Wars is available for free for your phone now?
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I don't know if it is in the Google Play Store, but in the iTunes Store you can download it.
Okay.
And it's rad. I like it better on a touchscreen, actually.
I'm still playing that Doctor Who puzzle game, man.
I got bored with it. It wasn't as cool as I wanted it to be.
Doctor Who Legacy is a great game. You guys should go get it. Maybe I'll do a review for it for the website or something. But
Yeah, I still got to actually do that reviews. There are a couple of review things I want to do for my blog.
do it.
I need to post again.
Remember, like, I got to remember to do things like, type it up.
I know, that's the worst. You gotta, find the images you want and type it and spell and capitalize shit.
I know, and edit, and
I even had built the templates
press
for you guys.
F7, and
Mike even went out of the way and made Photoshop templates for you
Hey,
guys.
I've made things. I didn't need the Photoshop templates. I was good with the gimps.
You made the fucking logo, is what you did.
I did,
Okay.
damn it.
Just confirmed it. Lego Star Wars on the Play Store. Install for free.
Yeah.
Sweet.
It's only story mode. You can't do free play mode without paying, but story
Whatever.
mode's the best one anyways. Yeah, you can't get all those obnoxious blue Lego studs that you can see underneath the floorboards that you need special powers to get, but you can play through.
Sweet.
I need to get a Moga.
And it's a long game.
Moga controller for my phone.
Oh, those ones that you can just sandwich your phone in?
Yeah, and
Yeah,
then
those are
Bluetooth, just
cool.
Bluetooth connectivity.
It's actually really nice on touchscreen, though.
because it works with emulators.
Yes.
That's pretty sweet.
Is busting out there, D-Man?
I did a
That's
little bit.
gross.
I see every once in a while this guy at work. It's basically a PlayStation controller with a thing sticking out of the back of it that he can stick a phone on.
Yeah.
A little flip.
They've got ones that expand And then you can snap it around your phone.
Those are ones that are built specifically for iPhone.
Yeah.
Because what it does is
Oh,
it snaps
wait,
into
there's
the
a
headset.
thing for iPhone that there isn't for your guys' phones?
Well, just variations.
That's really cool.
Well, there's variations of
You
the
guys are
controller.
always giving me shit about my iPhone. And never mind.
It's only because we care.
I like my phone. It was free and it works good.
It does not crash like my phone does.
Although I just went through my contacts list and deleted so many email addresses that it saved on its own. I don't know how to turn that off, and it's really annoying.
on my phone, when you first sign into your Google account with
It
your
goes
phone,
all your Google things and
Yes.
does them all.
Oh, I
not
remember.
only that, and then once you hook up to once it has your Google account and you're on a Windows server like we are here at work, the Exchange server pulls all that information too. Oh man,
Yeah.
it is.
Life is
it
hard,
hurts a
you
little bit.
guys. Life's really
First
hard.
world problem.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
Anyway, I think we've pretty much
I think we're done with the
said
news
our
show.
news.
Yeah.
You guys have anything else to add?
Poop.
Poop.
I don't know.
Giggity, giggity, giggity.
I'm 8.
All right. We still don't have a sign off for the news show.
For those about to news, we salute you.
No.
We report you. Like that sounds like we're gonna arrest
I'm
you
gonna
all.
tell on you right now. That's the news and some ADD moments.
What?
That's the news and some ADD moments.
That's the news for this week.
So we should have people send us what they think our ending should be.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. I still need to
Listeners.
make Brian's dice bag.
Feedback.
How's it coming?
Nerdeffect.com.
How's it coming? How's it coming?
I made the logo
Oh.
and I've been crazy busy.
Okay.
Because Nikki's been making owl hats.
Well, I made owl hats for my nieces and I'm selling them now, and apparently that's how I'm funding my trip possibly to.
Oh, Nikki, tell people what you're doing.
Well, I find out tomorrow if I'm doing it.
Oh.
The sign-up's
okay.
tomorrow and there's 2,000 spots.
We'll find out what you plan on trying to do.
Well, I ran my first 5K,
Which
last
people were
week.
mistaking me as the one that was doing it.
Oh yeah, no, that was me.
Because I just happened to repost your blog because I was trying to be
no.
nice, and then people thought I was the one who ran
Yeah.
the 5K.
No, that was me, and
was
I didn't
Nikki.
run the whole thing, but I finished it.
I just wanted people to see, hey, my friend Nikki did a thing.
No, it happens. It's totally cool. Yeah, no, I did a 5K, and it was really fun, and I'm doing another one in 2 months, and it's going to be the Color Me Rad run where they throw chalk powder at you, and it's great.
It's cornstarch, I believe.
Yeah, it is. But chalk powder was way more fun to say. So
Yeah, but that would blind you and not feel good.
I don't think cornstarch is going to be all that great either.
I would wear goggles.
I'm gonna wear my my scooter goggles. They're pretty sweet.
Yeah.
But
Like steampunk goggles.
so I was talking to our
I
friend.
wouldn't want them to ruin my steampunk goggles.
Yeah, I was talking to my friend, our friend that we work with, Ariane, about how I haven't had a vacation in a long time, and I was like, oh, I should take a week off for my birthday and just, I can't afford to go anywhere really, but I should just stay home and it'll be great. Have a sanity week, and then I log on to the Book of Faces like an hour later, and the Oatmeal posts this thing saying he's throwing a 10K up in Washington the week of my birthday. So registration opens up Monday morning, 10 o'clock our time.
Just start a Nerd Effect team on our behalf,
That'd be pretty sweet.
if you wanted to.
But people will be hearing this after registration, and I can guarantee you it's going to fill up in the first 10 minutes. Because there's only 2,000 spots.
You think so?
Oh, yeah. I'm worried I'm not going to get a spot. I would be really sad because my dad gave me money 6 months early for my birthday so I could sign up for this.
Well, you better be waiting at the button at midnight.
It's at 9 in the morning Pacific time, so 10 a.m. our time, which happens to be when I take my break. So I'm going to get here a little early tomorrow so that I can take my break a little early and sit there and be like, refresh, because damn it, I want to do this 10K. And it's called Beat the Blurch because of his running comics where he's being chased by the Blurch. If you don't know who the Oatmeal is, you are silly and should Google the Oatmeal. And it made me super happy. So hopefully I'll get a spot and get to go do that for my birthday. Celebrate the end of my 20s by running a bunch and getting a cool t-shirt and a Blurch medal. And all of the stations throughout the run, instead of having water, well, I'm sure they'll have water too, but they're going to have birthday cake and Nutella and magical grape drink. And it's going to be great. And the town that they're having it in is like a population of 1,700 people.
So there's going to be more people at the race than the actual population of the town?
Yep. It's going to be great. Through the woods. I want to go so bad. Like, I've been looking at bus schedules because I'm not going to take Angie's car away from her for 4 days. Yeah, it's going to be pretty sweet. And I'm really sad that this is going to go up after registration because people probably won't be able to.
I know it'd be funny if you get all excited here on the show and then next week you're just like, I didn't
No,
get it.
I'm going to be devastated if I don't get it, and I'm probably not going to. But, yeah, like...
Don't put it out in the universe like that, because then it will happen.
Well, no, there's 2,000 spots, and there's so many internets people that are like, fuck yes! I mean, granted, most of them don't live someplace where they can just randomly go to Washington for a 10K, but there's gonna be a decent number of people.
Oh, you'll be fine.
Like, he's actually posted things saying that he's sorry he has to cap it at 2,000 people because of all the interest.
Because the town can't handle that many people.
Well, and also organizing an event with that many people is going to be hard, but he's working with people that have organized a lot of runs. It's a 10K, a half marathon, and a marathon. It's $50 to sign up, which is the most I've spent on sports in my life ever. So, fingers crossed. Send out good karma
We're
vibes.
sending our happies with you.
Yes.
Oh, first thing I'm going to do if I get that, I'm going to be all over the Book of Faces, like, woo! And then my brain's gonna just pop.
I want to start a nerd run.
That'd be really cool.
You can have fun with that. I don't run.
I would
I know, but,
totally help
I
you
mean,
organize that and come up
I
with
would.
logos
I would
and
help
run
you.
it.
I would help you organize it, though.
Volunteers are a very vital part of what makes races work. I mean, when I ran my 5K, I made sure to thank all the people that were handing out water and collecting our cups and stuff, because it wouldn't have happened if they weren't volunteering, and that's awesome.
Or even if it was
I will
just
shoot the starting pistol for you.
Yay.
Yay.
It has to sound like a phaser, though.
That would be cool. And then we can say Mason shot first, and then everybody runs.
That'll work.
We really should
Make it
organize
sound like
a
a
nerd run.
DL-44.
I wonder what would be involved in organizing a nerd run.
You probably got to get city ordinance stuff and.
Well, and sponsors,
whatnot.
but I mean something
I
like
could
Captain
talk-
Comics.
I could honestly probably talk to. Well, she doesn't work there anymore, but I have her regular email too, Chelsea, who worked with the LLS thing.
Oh, yeah.
Try and convince people to dress up for the run.
Oh, no, you wouldn't have to try and convince anyone. Did you not read my 5K article that I wrote? At the St. Patty's Day Fun Run, there were tons of people in crazy costumes, and I was like, I feel like there's a big cosplay crossover here. Like, if nerds knew they could dress silly and go run, and you don't even have to run, you can walk it. Just do it. It's fun.
Have a
Walking
cosplay
3 miles.
contest at the end of it.
Yeah, there was a costume contest at the St. Patty's Day run, and the costumes were super shitty. And if I'd known that there was a costume contest, I would have gone all out. Because, I'm not super into cosplay, but I'm highly competitive, and I sew.
I'm just going to put this out there for you that, there's usually cosplay competitions at every con.
Yeah, but those people are super into it, and usually have more money to spend on it than I do.
And they're usually way bigger cons than anything that comes to Idaho.
Yeah.
There's no cons that come to Idaho. There's only one con in Idaho.
Well, Anime Oasis rolls around here, too.
I forgot Anime Oasis existed.
Well, it's down at the big hotel downtown.
I'm just
like
used to
driving
Fandom
around downtown when Anime Oasis is going on, because there's always fun people walking through the crosswalks.
Oh, and don't forget the Library Comic-Con now.
Oh, yes, that's right.
Are we going to get a booth for that?
Anyway, let's end the news show.
Okay. Stop bringing up new things if you don't want me to respond to them. Jeez.
If you got any ideas for a news article, feel free to send them to feedback@nerdeffect.com.
If you want us to
post
have a
them to
nerd
our
run.
Facebook page. Tweets them at us. Whatever you want to do. We would love to hear your news. Saves us time and effort.
We should start a Nerd Effect Pinterest page.
Oh, Lord have
Pin
mercy.
all the nerdy things. I find so many all the nerdy things.
If you want to start one, go for it.
Yes!
I'll support it, but I probably won't be doing much with it.
I will do all the things with it. It's
Okay.
fine. Yeah.
So for the Nerd Effect news, we have been...
Michael Morgan.
Mason, Ireland.
Nikki Brittle!
And I am Dustin Vancouver, and we're just going to end this traditionally with, for those about to nerd...
We salute you.